Hi guys, haven't done a recording in 2 weeks, but I'm quite excited about this one because the markets have done what I was hoping and predicting that they would do. Now, I think in the last recording, which was 2 weeks ago, I was looking for a reversal around this area here. Let's say 416 on the SPY. I'll just go to the weekly 2 weeks ago. Yeah, okay. Looks like we went a little higher. Everyone got very bullish. You'd hear all these people talk about, oh, it's no longer a bear market rally. It's actually a new bull market or whatever. I mean, it's unbelievable how bullish people get as the markets go up. I mean, the time to get bullish is down here, obviously, with hindsight, but I did foresee a bit of a drop either coming here or if it went a bit higher up here. Looks like we did it. I saw a few more charts today looking at the same trend lines that I'd drawn a while ago, this grand downtrend line here. And whether you're looking at the SPY, I think the Nasdaq pierced it a little bit. Yeah, I mean it's a general trend line, but it's strong. And plus on the SPY, this actually was also the 200 moving average. I should have it up, but I've seen it already. So the 200 moving average was pretty much 430. So we kissed it and came back down, but it coincided with the general downtrend line. And okay, the Nasdaq was a little stronger, but still same sort of movement. The Dow also a little piercing up here from the downtrend line, but it's not enough. The Russell also did quite well. So, I mean, the markets went a little higher. I was thinking initially that they would come back down on the first resistance. So this is the Russell, the Dow would be here. They all went, I don't know how much more it is. Yeah, okay, 3% for the Dow. Let's see the SPY. 3%. It's not a colossal move. So they went a little higher. And now they started to come back down, but obviously it's not the biggest move down yet. But I'm quite excited because I did sell into it. I mean, here I trimmed my positions. Here I trimmed quite a lot. I really thought, right, let's gamble on this one. I just can't see the markets going all the way up after this huge move. I mean, this is 20% or something. I'm not going to look at all the indexes, but from low to top, basically 20%. It's a monumental move. And if you look at the fundamentals, although I like to say that I trade technicals, fundamentally, recession, interest rates going up, even though there was a bit of chatter about a pause. I mean, interest rates going up, inflation is still crazy, almost 10% unofficially. So you look at the background, plus you've got this war going on, the energy crisis. I don't think things are going to get better. Recessions have a little bit of a delay. So I expect, bad events to take place soon. Maybe some big companies going bankrupt or unemployment figures, whatever it might be. Recession, takes time. Companies start to lay off people or stop hiring. So I think that'll play into this. I think we're going to move lower. I hope so because I trimmed quite a lot of my positions. I'll go through those later, especially the miners. So I'm really hoping for a move down. And this move on Friday, what was it, 2%? Not even, okay, for the Russell, it was 2%, Nasdaq 2%. I was always thinking it's going to take one minus 2% day, like we had on Friday, for people to think, wait a minute, maybe the market is going to go down. I mean, I think it at least is going to go test previous resistance here. I mean, that's not asking much. That's 2% or something. We're probably going to go all the way back down to prior resistance, and it'll probably coincide with this trend line. So I'd expect, and this will take several days at least, but we think after several days, the candles will come down here. I think at least here, under 400 on the SPY, and whatever the equivalent is for the others, the Nasdaq. I don't know, about here. And then we'll see, there'll be a little bounce. And I am actually hoping for a larger move down. I think fundamentally we should be going to new lows. And just as everyone gets very excited and everyone's bullish as things move up, I think when things move down, we can expect some big drops and people getting scared, especially the lower we get. So let's see. Looking forward to Monday. but I really did trim my position. So those are the general market indexes: the SPY, the Nasdaq, the Dow, the Russell. I always cover those four first. I'll look at the dollar next. Should be up here. So the dollar also, and I remember seeing this sort of a fake breakdown here because I drew this trend line. It's not ideal actually, but trend lines are a general indicator to me anyway. Actually, you can see it's still held, but I mean the dollar really did rally pretty strong here. So what's going to stop it from reaching 109 and continuing upwards? I mean, one of the biggest components of the DXY is the euro and the Japanese yen. You look at the euro, I mean, that's a pretty ugly finish, just at one parity, basically. I think the euro will go lower, and the euro fundamentally, look at the interest rates, they've raised it up to zero. I can't believe they had negative interest rates for that long, but then you look at the energy crisis, the war, I think the euro is going to go lower. I don't even know to what level. I mean, once it loses one, it's going to go to probably here, 95, hover a little bit, bounce back up to one, maybe, but long term, I think, yeah, at least 90, you know, medium term, not even long term. So with that going down, fear coming back, dollar goes up, along with the markets going down. So that's what I'm seeing. Dollar looks great. I'm holding a lot of dollars, at least 55, 60% of my portfolio is dollars, just pure cash. I sold a lot. I've never been in that much in cash actually. When it comes to interest rates, the yields are slowly creeping back up. The 10 years almost going back to 3, kind of lagging the dollar move, the DXY. The 2-year is stronger. You can see already almost touching 3.4 and ready to go to new highs. So we have inversion here. And the 30-year also just behind the 10-year, but they're pretty much the same at the moment. They look very identical, but the 2-year you can see is very, very strong. So interest rates going back up, dollar going up, market's just starting to go down. I think they've got a long way down to go. It won't be one straight line, but I think we'll have some big moves down next week, some -2% days. I think the moves up have stopped for a while. So I'll look at oil. I don't usually look at oil, but I also pay attention to it because it's a big component of inflation. You can see it's come down quite a lot, so I expect a bit of a bounce. But I don't think that's going to stop the general trend anyway. Let's look at gold and silver because that's mainly what I'm trading at the moment. So gold followed the markets. Actually, gold was and the miners were weaker, and I think they were leading the markets. Sort of took my moves from what I was seeing in the miners and the metal. I thought it was leading the general market. So you can see it bounced quite a lot, right? 6-7%, which is quite a lot for gold. It touched its previous support. I mean, I also thought that this was resistance, so I sold some here. I sold some SLV, and then I sold some up here. I actually closed my SLV position here, and I love silver long term, but I just thought you got to go for it, you know. So I'm very happy for this big move down so far. And actually, my plan was to buy SLV back, but I think I'm going to buy some silver miners instead because I don't need to put that much in. I can earn a bit of a dividend, but also they move up more. So that's just a bit of a tweak I've done in my portfolio. But I closed silver, and I might as well look at silver, but you can see it's the same. So very happy. And you can see it's already come down quite a lot. I mean, silver -2.5% on Friday after already having some big drops. It's quite, for me, it's quite nice. Very weak though, you know, it's you can see it's already almost touching its ascending support, something that I think the SPY and all the other general markets will do. But you can see they've silver and gold and the miners, I haven't shown you the miners yet, but they've come down a lot already. It's the equivalent of being at 390 on the SPY. So yeah, silver, gold. Gold's obviously not as weak as silver. It's always the same thing. Silver's stronger on the way up and weaker on the way down. So I expect this to just come back down with the markets, with the dollar going up. So the test of the old lows, really. We look at the miners, then I'll look at my individual stocks, but following gold and silver, and you can see there they're almost at their lows. They're sort of how much of a percent of a move to touch their lows, not even 8%. So that, I mean, that can be done in 1 week. If the markets are bad and the dollar is good and the rates go up. GDX, very weak. And that's quite surprising. Normally the miners, the GDXJ, sorry, the juniors, are a bit like silver. They're weaker on the way down and strong on the way up. But the GDX has been pretty weak. And I think that's because of Newmont just being weak because of bad earnings. So, I mean, the GDX is very close to being, I mean, look at that, 3.5%. That can be done in one bad day. So, and then where do we go, you know? Then we go maybe to 23, and then I don't know, then it's sort of free fall to 20 psychological, and then just under 20. We'll see when we get there, but I trimmed my position pretty hard on this little move up. It was a gamble, and I'll be buying very aggressively here. I'll at least be buying back everything I sold and then using the rest of my side ammo. I always call it side ammunition, but my cash sidelines, because I think long term gold and silver, the miners just are going to scream high, and I'm hoping to make a lot, like retirement amount from this move up, but it's all about compounding, maximizing your potential, and I think that I could do that if I catch the bottom. You never catch the bottom, but you know, near the bottom. So the miners are weaker than the general markets. They're following the gold and silver moves, which is also following the inverse of the dollar move and interest rates. Everything seems to be acting logically. And for some reason, the miners and the metals are underperforming. But that happens, you know. I mean, even in 2008, I remember, well, I wasn't there. I remember looking at the charts. I think there also the miners sort of underperformed, but then when everything reversed, they were one of the strongest sectors. So yeah, that's what I've been looking at. Now for my portfolio, I added Newmont. I think I mentioned that in the last recording from 2 weeks ago. So it wasn't the best buy, it was like 50. And then I added more here. So it's one of my strongest holdings, but it's not, it was down 2.5% on Friday, but it's not the worst gold stock to hold on the way down, because okay, the dividends is nice. Actually, it's near support here, but I don't expect huge moves down. You know, worst case scenario, it goes to its March 2020 lows. Okay, 20% is quite bad, but you just take any of these more aggressive silver stocks and it's like 50% or something, although they are pretty low already. But all the other gold stocks have more of a move down to get to their March lows. I mean, look at that. First Majestic, for example, it's pretty much double. So yeah, Newmont, I trimmed, I think, a little bit here because this coincided, this sort of 46.49 or whatever it was, this coincided with the GDX and the GDXJ hitting resistance. So I trimmed Newmont a little bit. I should have done more. Nico Eagle, I trimmed it. I think it was up here. I mean, all the charts look the same. They're all following GDX, GDXJ. Wheaton, I trimmed also. I trimmed them all. Pan America, I trimmed a lot. I don't know how high I got it, but I'm very happy to have trimmed it. I think I cut it in half, and now I added a tiny bit on Friday, but nothing worth mentioning. I'm really going to go for Pan American. Maybe it gets to 14, but I don't want to get too greedy, but that got trimmed. Mag got trimmed. I mean, I trimmed it, but I always have these extra, I always got a little bit of a core position in case it keeps going up. So keep selling 20%, 20%, 20%. Goldfields, I did not trim because I thought it would move higher. But I don't have much in that, so I'm looking forward to a nice move down. add First Majestic. I trimmed these silver 4 aggressive ones up here. I think I bought on Friday, but I bought very little amounts, like really 5% of what my holding was added. It was just to sort of, I don't know, I saw everything go down so much. I thought I've got to at least buy something, but I'm pretty certain it's going to go lower. First Majestic, same thing, trimmed. This one had an extra trend line to help me. EXK, that was very strong, trimmed. I got scared of trimming too much, but very happy to have done it. Now it's really about where to buy back, but I mean, it's always easier to buy than to sell. But the hardest thing right now is patience, because I think the miners are going to go lower. You know, I've shown you that. But watching these beauties come lower and not buying is so difficult. I mean, I have to leave the house sometimes just to change scenery and get my mind off it. Coeur d'Alene, I absolutely love this stock. I think it's got great potential for a move up. Look at this grand trend line going down. Just kissed it. Of course, I trimmed a little bit. I mean, I think I will buy if it goes 260s, definitely. Just a little bit, but I'm looking for at least the March lows, $2. I mean, that's crazy. Grand Columbia, that had some very good news. I think a merger or it bought someone. It was very good news. I also bought back very quickly because I thought this one would be special. And then I didn't sell. Anyway, whatever. It came all the way back down. I bought a little bit more on Friday because I think this one is a little bit special with the latest news, and it's also very low. But, you know, I don't care about news too. If the sector's going down, if the market's crashing, everything goes down. So I'm looking forward to adding that. Trillium, this one is it's being destroyed, and it went up sort of after the miners had touched its resistance. So this one is acting a bit strange. I think it's just totally oversold, and I don't actually expect it to go lower than 16 where it was before. So I've got enough in this. I tried to sell it, but there wasn't enough liquidity. I think it was 23 I was looking for, something, or 22.89. I always sell just below. Couldn't do it, but I don't mind. I've got a good amount, and I'm not going to add any more if it goes lower. But I believe in this stock. I've seen a few videos of the CEO, and I think it's got a lot of potential. Kind of could do 100% in a day with some good news easily. Termalina reminds me of Trillium also. I don't know if I sold this one, but I'd sold it already before here. But I've got a good amount. I'm not looking to buy back. Just if it pops, I'd probably sell on this downtrend line. So yeah, just 39, maybe 38.89. I like these little odd numbers just below to make sure I get filled. So I think I've got to sell a good till cancel sell in there. I think I missed the latest, but I wouldn't have sold this. 30 is not enough for me. So just holding that. Fortitude had great earnings. I think it's got a really good dividend, this one. It's a spin-off from Goro, which I used to own. Very happy I got rid of Goro. I think I was married to that stock, actually. That's a different story. But this one, I think it's 8% dividend, great earnings. Didn't sell. I have very small position. So I didn't sell. I'm looking to buy back at 601. I'll probably add a little bit. And if we have a flush, I will add more, because this is very strong dividend and it's been pretty consistent. It's just a bit of a crazy chart, and I'm not used to buying what I would say is all the way up here, but I think this one is there's a reason for this holding up high. I mean, you can't really see the market drop here. It doesn't have the same pattern as all the others. So I'm holding small position, gonna add and hope it goes lower. Rainer Silver, my smallest holding, I think. I did not sell this like an idiot. I don't know why I got greedy on this one. And just been watching it just grind down with the general sector. I think I'm going to add a little bit here because it's such a small holding, but I don't like the fact there's no other history to go with it. So I'm not going to add too much, because if the sector comes down, 10% and then makes new lows, and imagine the spiral, the Nasdaq comes down 20%. This thing is not just going to go down, whatever this is, 10%. It's going to go down 20, 30. So I'm going to add a little bit, and if it goes lower, let's see what happens. So those are the miners, and I'm very happy. I basically trimmed them, watching the GDX, the GDXJ, the SPY, the gold, dollar, interest rates, everything coincided. Very good selling here. Um, gonna buy back very small amounts on the way down, but I'm looking for a flush. But I'm really gonna trade the ranges. Um, just nibbling in and out makes a lot of difference, compounding wise. So yeah, that's my outlook for the miners. It's gonna go lower with the market. Now I have these other stocks. I don't usually cover them, but why not? This is an oil and gas trillion. Uh, very, very strong, very, very good. It's following the Europe, the war, all that news, European gas prices, US gas prices also have a small effect. It's really the European one. Um, Actually, this is the US version. The Canadian one is here. And it's been very, very strong. Basically, I'm going to keep nibbling out of this. If I zoom out, I think it could go here. And some people say $1. I'm not going to go into it, but it's a very good story. And but I've run into a lot of stories, and I just like to sell the moves up and buy the moves down. I prefer working on technicals than news catalysts. But fundamentals are always important. So this European gas effect, you can see it here in the chart. So these two are actually the same thing. It's just the Canadian ticker has more data, more history. So I usually watch this one, but obviously I trade this one because this is what I own. So nibbling on the way out, on the way up. Paramount, I don't know. I owned this since a long time ago. I've been trading it. I sold I think I bought more here and then sold some there. Then it went up, back down. I'm just holding the rest. I don't care really what happens to this position. If it breaks out and goes up, great, I'll sell it. But for that, the market needs to go up. I don't see that happening. If it flushes and go down to lows, good. I'll double my position, maybe even more. Just, I don't know, 12.51 or something. I don't really care about this company. Streaming is not really my niche, this Netflix and all this stuff. But there are quite a few big caps I've got my eye on. I'll probably do a separate episode on that, but this is really a blue chip that I've owned for a while. Oatly, just a random company I bought down, just been trading it, but actually I only traded it once. I bought it at I bought it at 414, not the best entry. 14, I think. Anyway, small amount, don't care what happens. If it goes down here, I'll maybe add. You can see it's very weak. I think it had bad news. I think if the market goes down, this goes to new lows. So I might nibble a little bit here to sell a little bit there to keep my average down, but this is one I think will really move up when the market stabilizes. So that's really why I'm in it. And I'm in it just to keep my eye on it, not to make money yet. So it's such a small position. Hive, I had quite a lot in it. This I bought at 314. I really nailed the bottom on this one. And I sold all the way up. Sold here. I think I bought back around here and just kept on selling, just little 20% every time it moved up. And it moved a lot. I think it did 100%-ish. Yeah, more. Well, for me, I made it over 100%, but I didn't close the position. I still had just under a third left up here. I just thought, even though to me this was very obvious, close your whole position, I was looking for that little extra break through with Bitcoin, maybe taking out 25,000. Didn't happen. I should cover this really with the Bitcoin chart. I might too, but very happy to have sold all that. I think it's going to come all the way back down. Yeah, another 20% easily. I could do it in a day. These crypto miners move 10, 15, 20% in a day on a good day. So I think it'll go back down and we'll see. But for me, Bitcoin follows the stock. So I think this could come all the way back down eventually. And if it goes to new lows, because I used to own this down here, although at the time it was like 10 cents, this did a reverse split. I mean, eventually, if this really does come all the way back down, I mean, I'm going to go in hard. But for that, I see Bitcoin between 6 and 10,000. So yeah, I see Bitcoin and Hive and all the other crypto related stocks coming back down with the general market. So not buying back yet. MindMed, this one I owned for quite a while, several weeks, months even. It's just one that was on the internet, and I remember, I think I covered this 2 weeks ago actually, before this crazy pop-up here. So you can go back and see my old videos, because I think I covered this back then. And I bought it down here, 61-ish, yeah, on the bad news day. Went lower, whatever. I didn't have too much in it, but there was this what's the name of this guy who bought it and made the news, the Bed Bath and Beyond investors. And then all of a sudden the next day I see Mind Medicine all over the Wall Street chatter. What the hell's going on? I was selling it pre-market 120, 125, 129. I made a lot of money on this. This was 80% pre-market. I mean, yeah, it's a good stock, it's psychedelics, whatever. Bit like the weed sector, but I just sold it. I didn't care about the news. I was hoping that it kept going on some Wall Street bet style gamma squeeze, but I sold half my position on this day here, average 125 basically out. And I bought some on Friday on this drop here, even though it looks like it's going to go back down to the 70s. I just thought, let me buy back what I sold because, I mean, I believe in this stock before the crazy news. So it could go crazy next week too. It's a bit of a special one. I didn't have the biggest position, but it was worth quite a bit on this 80% move. So I sold half and I bought back half, bought back what I sold already down here. But I always wanted to add to my position anyway. So if it goes lower, I'll add, but I want to see how it reacts with the market. Because if it's just going to follow the markets, then it could go all the way back down easily. So, but this was fun. This one was, I didn't expect that. Desktop Metals, 3D printing stock. It surprised me. I kept on trimming when it got here in the 270s, 269s. I was selling each time because I had too much of a position, so I didn't mind selling, but I wouldn't buy back. I think I bought back once here, but that was it. And then here, I didn't think it would break out, but the market just kept going up. And actually, this thing was outperforming the market. I mean, you can see it's had one red day, but you compare that to the general markets. It's been outperforming for a while, and the sector. So I always wanted to sell this to buy other 3D printing stocks. I think that's going to be the future. I may have mentioned that in other videos, but yeah, I kept on selling. And now I don't have too much of a position, so I'm hoping it goes back down. I'll add a little bit, but I really want to add the other 3D printing stocks like DDD, MMDN, I think it is, or NNDM, Nano Dimension. I have a bunch of them down here, these guys. So I want to really dilute into all these just to diversify within this sector instead of all being in one stock. But so far, I've benefited by being in the strongest one, despite this drop here, which I bought into. So this was good. I've sold what I've wanted to, gap fill, closed, and now I just hope it goes back down with the rest of the sector. And finally, Tilray, the weed stock. It was pretty strong. The election-related chatter made it look pretty good. I kept on selling into it. Obviously, I regret not selling all of it now, but it's good. I've lightened my position, so I don't really care. I think I'll go back down here, 340, maybe have one bounce day and then go back down to new lows. Unless the election chatter picks up again, because this simply follows the market like everything else. So that is a recap of my portfolio. Maybe next time I'll split up the miners and make a separate one on my alternative stocks. Maybe I can cover Bitcoin. I need to just refine my YouTube videos a bit more and do them more frequently. But I hope you appreciate the detail, the honesty, transparency, and the no nonsense. So yeah, please subscribe, like, and all that stuff. Share. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you.